What's up, millennials? Today might be one of the most important days for Kusama ever, because Kusama is launching their parachain auctions today. In exchange for your valuable time today, we're going to first look at the parachain auctions and then we're going to dive into the charts, so let's do it. Before we're going to check out the technical analysis for Kusama, let's dive a little bit into the auctions for Kusama, because those are going to happen today. Now, as you might know, Kusama is Polkadot's experimental network, and today we are going to have the first auction for the parachains that are going to be launched on Kusama. So I believe that this is definitely one of the most important days for Kusama ever. So as I've said, the first auction is going to start later today, or actually later today, because right now I'm recording the video, and I believe in like 4 or 5 hours time, the first auction is going to start. But by the time that I have released this video, and by the time you watch this video, the first auction has already started. And the first auction is going to take 1 week in total. It's going to start today on June 15th and is going to end on June 22nd. So it's going to be 1 week in total. And that is going to be the auction for the first parachain to be borrowed, basically, to be bought almost, for a period of almost 1 year in time, the period starting June 22nd all the way up to May 13th of 2022. So it's going to be very exciting because the success of these parachain auctions and also the functioning of the parachains itself, that is going to determine if the Polkadot network is also going to start with the parachain auctions. With regards to the schedule in the next coming weeks, well, you can see that the auction 1 is going to start today, and then in 1 week time, the auction 1 is going to end, auction 2 is going to start, etc., etc. So there are going to be 5 auctions in total, each of 1 week, and after these 5 auctions have been ended, then the auctions are likely going to switch to a timetable of 1 auction every 2 weeks instead of every 1 week. And if you want a little bit more information about Kusama, the parachain auctions, and the effect that this might have on Polkadot, maybe check out this video that I released last week. And just a tiny little side note over here about Polkadot, because Coinbase Pro is actually going to launch Polkadot on their network right now. So I believe in about 4 or 5 hours time from now. And again, if you're watching this, this has already happened, but they are going to start trading Polkadot on Coinbase Pro too. Now, before I'm going to give you my opinion on the current price action, let's take a look at the charts of Kusama right now. And first, we're going to talk a little bit about the support levels that are happening right now. The first support level is the 55 exponential moving average. The 55 EMA, this is this white line over here that you can see, is often used as a pretty significant support level. We can see that in the past it has been used multiple times as support. If we scroll back all the way down to November and basically November and December of 2020, it has been used multiple times as a major support level. Now, in the last couple of months, it did definitely go below that support level quite a few times. For example, over here at the end of April, it went below for a few days, but then quickly went back up. And here at the end of May, it also went down, stayed there for about almost 2 weeks in total, and then quickly went back up too. And now we seem to be trading above that 55 EMA. So let's see if we're now going to hold this support level or not. If we do go below that support level of the 55 EMA, I do think that the next important support level is this blue box, more or less between $290 and $305 per coin, because I do think that that has been a pretty important support level created by this local low over here and these lows over here. Quite a lot of trading volume has been accomplished over there. So I do think that that is going to be a pretty significant level of support. Now, if we do break that level, and I think that is quite unlikely, to be very honest with you, looking at the other indicators, which we're going to take a look at in a second. But if that does happen, if we do go below that, I think that the next level of important support is going to be around $245. And if we then look at the resistance, we can see that the most important resistance level is going to be around $595. Basically, that's the level of the previous all-time high. So let's see if we can now go from the current level we are at right now, $418, back to that previous all-time high around $595. When we look at the indicator like an RSI, we can see that it is flip-flopping around a little bit. The RSI being this blue line over here is right now back above the EMA. This white line over here on the RSI RSI, and that is usually a pretty good sign, but it is a little bit, neutral. It is very close to that EMA, and it is not using it that strongly as support just yet. But I do like the read in general. It's okay-ish, and I do like the fact that the EMA, the white line over here, is crossing a little bit more to the upside, so I definitely like that. And we also saw some bullish divergence on the RSI, because the price action was making lower lows. We can see a low over here and the lower low over here. But if you go to the RSI, you can see a low over here and a higher low over here at the same time. So that is bullish divergence, basically meaning that the price often goes up after a signal like that. But I do believe that has already played out, because we of course saw a pretty significant move from the low over here, if you look at candlestick closures, to the high over here, if you look at a candlestick closure of 95%. So yeah, I definitely think that bullish divergence has definitely already played out. And if we look at the MACD, it looks pretty solid too in general. We can see that the MACD, which is this blue line over here, has crossed above the signal line, which is the orange line over here, and that is usually a pretty good sign. So let's see if the MACD, the blue line, is going to stay above the signal line, the orange line, in the next coming days, and hopefully it's going to use it perfectly as support. So that is definitely a signal that I would like to see in the next coming days. And just a little side note over here, keep in mind that the volume has been increasing over the last couple of hours. Definitely if you look at the hourly chart, so every candlestick is 1 hour of price action, we can see that there is quite a lot of volume in the last couple of hours since the last 10 hours or so. And this is basically the highest level of volume we have seen since all the way back on the 23rd of May, more or less. So that is definitely something to keep your eye on as well. If we then take a look at the daily chart of Kusama versus Polkadot, we can see that Kusama is acting a little bit stronger compared to Polkadot right now, but we don't really have a lot of price action just yet. This is a chart from the 9th of April. Then Kusama versus Ethereum, we can see that we are currently in an uptrend since the last couple of weeks, actually since the 11th of May or so. We are making higher highs and higher lows at the same time, so that is always good to see. We are, of course, also above the 55 exponential moving average of this white line over here, so I like that too. And the RSI is pretty strong right now. We are quite just a little bit below that exponential moving average on the RSI, but so far I don't think that is a warning signal just yet. And the MACD is still above the signal line, but could slightly dip below the signal line right now. And then Kusama versus Bitcoin, we are making higher lows on this chart too. We are above the 55 EMA. The RSI is a little bit flip-flopping around that exponential moving average on the RSI, and the MACD pretty much the same thing. It is a little bit neutral. It is a little bit flip-flopping around right now as well. Now, before I'm going to give you my conclusion on the technical analysis for Kusama right now, check out nesami.com/TA if you also want to learn how to read charts like me, because I created a program about technical analysis for absolute beginners. So in conclusion, I believe there are exciting weeks ahead for not only Kusama but also for Polkadot because of those auctions, those parachain auctions that are going to happen in the next coming weeks. Right now, Kusama is showing strength versus Bitcoin, versus Ethereum, and also versus Polkadot. And if we look at the Kusama versus the US dollar chart, we are right now above important support levels. And I think that as long as we stay above the 55 exponential moving average, we could test a little bit more upside, potentially even to the previous all-time highs, especially if the volume keeps increasing like it has been doing over the last couple of hours. So I'm very much looking forward to your opinion too. Do you think we're going to test the all-time high at $595, or do you believe we're going to go back to the support level around $300? Let me know in the comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!